After a wet, sometimes windy Sunday, things are settling down tonight. Temperature's not too bad. We're 57, kind of a partly cloudy sky as we speak. And that last batch of rain has moved on through along with a cold front. Behind this, some quieter weather. We'll talk more about that in the full forecast coming up in just a few minutes. News 2 starts right now.
Now, Count on 2, live and local in the Lowcountry. This is News 2 at 11.
An Amtrak train slams into a freight train, leaving 2 Amtrak employees dead and dozens of passengers injured. We have new details about this accident, and we'll tell you how the National Transportation Safety Board is responding.
And the number of high electric bill complaints continue to grow following that winter blast we had last month. So we are getting answers from SCE&G.
Good evening, I'm Carolyn Murray.
And I'm Brendan Clark. We are following developing news tonight. A fatal train crash in the Midlands. An Amtrak passenger train slammed into a freight train parked on a side track in Casey. That's just outside Columbia.
2 Amtrak employees were killed and more than 110 people were hurt. The train was heading from New York to Miami. We have team coverage of this deadly train crash.
News 2's Natalie Price is in West Columbia and takes us through this tragic event.
Hey there, I'm here in West Columbia. This area is where passengers were brought after the crash. 2 crew members were killed and over 100 people were injured when an Amtrak train crashed into a parked CSX train. According to NTSB officials, a rail switch in the wrong position was a major factor in this fatal accident. This all began just after 2:30 Sunday morning. The Amtrak train was supposed to continue heading south on the main line, but the track had been connected to a side track by a rail switch that officials say had been padlocked into that position, a standard procedure for a manually changed switch.
Key to this investigation is learning why that switch was lined that way.
Many passengers were immediately taken to be checked out at local hospitals.
The good news is the majority of them have been non-injured or non-life-threatening injuries. Mostly scrapes, bumps, bruises.
As the evidence collection began at the crash site, families reunited with their loved ones a couple of miles away at Pine Ridge Middle School.
Just heard her speaking. I heard some noise, but I couldn't make it out. I was just trying to make sure everything was okay with her. So as long as everything was okay with her, then, I was still trying to keep calm. I kind of just, kept bases with her first. Kept bases with her, and then she said, hey, they're about to transport us to the emergency room, and I'm about to get scans done. Okay, so what's going to happen? I'm on my way.
Now, the Amtrak train is estimated to have been going at about 59 miles per hour, which is the speed limit through this area. NTSB officials say they won't know for sure how fast that train was going until they can find the event recorders in the wreckage. And officials say they're expecting to release more information soon. Reporting in Columbia, Natalie Price, Count on 2.
We continue our team coverage on this deadly Amtrak train crash outside Columbia.
The National Transportation Safety Board trying to figure out why a switch was in the wrong position, sending that Amtrak train slamming into that freight train. Meanwhile, all other train lines are running as scheduled.
News 2's Libba Holland is live in North Charleston to talk about the Amtrak service and how this incident may affect train travel. Libba.
Brendan, Carolyn, I'm at the Amtrak station here in North Charleston, and in fact, a train just went behind us. A CSX train traveled behind us just moments ago. Now, the train involved in this incident earlier this morning does not stop here in Charleston, but some other lines do. So I spoke with Amtrak's CEO about the safety of the service going forward.
2 Amtrak railroad lines make stops in Charleston, the Palmetto and the Silver Meteor, going both north and south. And they're running almost constantly along the East Coast.
What I just want to reaffirm is that Amtrak is fully committed and values safety as its highest priority.
Richard Anderson recently became president and CEO of Amtrak after working about 20 years in the aviation industry.
We've got to bring the same sort of focus and safety culture that you have in an airline to the railroad industry in America.
Anderson is pushing to have all American railroad lines install GPS-based technology called Positive Train Control, or PTC, by the end of the year. That technology would help prevent train-to-train collisions, perhaps even the deadly one today.
The real takeaway takeaway that I have from aviation is the difference in the application of technology to mitigate risks in the business. And I think that's why it's so important in this country that PTC be implemented by the end of the year.
PTC is right now in effect in the Northeast, but Anderson said some railroad companies are pushing against that deadline, asking for extensions. The NTSB is also looking into PTC and its effects on today's incident. Live in North Charleston, Libba Holling, Count on 2.
In the past year, there have already been fatal incidents involving Amtrak trains. Back on June 27th last year, 2 CSS workers were hit and killed by a train in Washington, D.C. On January 14th, an Amtrak collided with an SUV after it went around the safety arms in North Carolina, and that killed 2 people.
Then 2 days later in California, a train collided with a car, killing a 21-year-old man. On the 31st, there was the Amtrak train that hit a garbage truck in West Virginia. The train was carrying Republican lawmakers to a conference. The truck driver in that accident was killed. We are following today's fatal crash. To read more, you can go to our website, counton2.com, and follow us on social media for the latest details.
Other news tonight, 1 person is dead, another in custody following a shooting that happened in West Ashley. Charleston police say it happened on J. Wood Circle shortly after 8 o'clock tonight. We know the victim was taken to MUSC and died. We are still waiting to learn the identity of the victim and the suspect. You can go to our website, counton2.com, for the latest information.
Well, hopefully you enjoyed the game.
Yeah.
It was a nice day to be inside because we had cloudy skies and with a few showers around this Sunday.
Yeah, sure. A good excuse to stay inside, watch the Super Bowl, right, Rob?
Hey, a perfect day to stay inside, watch the Super Bowl right here on Channel 2. He also had those gusty winds that moved on through as well, along with a cold front, but the cold front has cleared the coast, so now we've got some quieter weather. 52 degrees by midnight here in a few minutes, 45 degrees by 6 out the doors. The kids head back to school in the a.m., and then 56 and sunshine by lunchtime. Really looks like a pretty good Monday coming this way. Just a few leftover clouds, that's about it. This last batch of rain that came through brought gusty winds well over 30 miles an hour in some cases. Now what's going to happen is we're going to see a little bit of a cool down for the early part of the week and then a warm up. 54, Somerville 52, and Walterboro over to Mount Pleasant at 58 degrees. Meanwhile, 49 for Kingstree. Now we talked about that little bit of a cool down. You can see upstream we've got 30s and 40s, and behind that front, winds coming in from the north and west. So we'll start to see that, but the sunshine that will come back out to play tomorrow will certainly mitigate the cooler temperatures moving in. Right now we're 16 degrees warmer in Charleston compared to 24 hours ago. More about a look ahead to the brand new work and school week coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, we got to talk about the Super Bowl, and Super Bowl 52 did not disappoint. The first half was thrilling. It ended with the Eagles ahead, but winning from behind is nothing new for the Pats, and this one came down to the wire. Let's first take a look. USC former teammates and roomies, Alshon Jeffrey and Stephon Gilmore, playing against each other tonight. First touchdown of the game, the guy we just mentioned, Jeffrey with the 6th Super Bowl grab in the back of the end zone. Eagles go up 9-3 early after the missed PAT, and then we are going to jump all the way to the end. Eagles scored with a lot of time for Brady to work, unless something like this happens. The first and only sack fumble fly. Eagles fly. Brady and the Patriots fall. Nick Foles leads Philly to the promised land. They win it 41-33. We go now to Jared Smalley with more from Minneapolis. Hey, Jared, I have to know, first of all, it is always loud in Minneapolis. Just tell me a little bit about what the atmosphere was like out there tonight.
Brianna, this is special stuff, and obviously the Eagles attempting to win their first Super Bowl and then doing it was extraordinary to watch. The energy in this building, you could tell it even in pregame. When Tom Brady was on the jumbo screen before they were called out for introductions, the boos in the building back here were overwhelming because Eagles fans were owning the building, it seemed. It was extraordinary to watch. One of the great Super Bowls in history. And we seem to say that every year, don't we? The drama at the end of the game in the fourth quarter, what happened for the Eagles to get the lead, a somewhat controversial touchdown catch. It was a catch very clearly, but the review lasted far longer than a lot of people hoped it would. And then the great play at the end by Brandon Graham to strip the ball from Tom Brady. It was just great theater, and Philadelphia emerging with that win. But, Brian, the thing I'll take away from this Super Bowl was the total yards. 1,151 total yards in this game, the most in any postseason game in NFL history. It was mind-blowing offensive work.
It was unbelievable. It's great to watch here. And Jared, I'm so glad that you got to enjoy it there. Stay warm. Thank you so much, Jared, and enjoy the rest of your time in Minneapolis. All right, that is all for now. Coming up later on in sports, Ben Murphy gives us a preview of the next big NBC event, the 2018 Winter Olympic Games. Stick around for that.
All right, Brianne, thank you. Well, the big game, yes, the Super Bowl is finally over, but a lot of people also talking about the commercials. The ads are as big a deal, sometimes bigger than the game itself. Maybe not tonight. It's a great game tonight. We here at News 2, though, giving you a chance to rate the Super Bowl ads in real time, pick your favorites, and see how they stack up against the rest.
If you would like to vote, we're making it easy for you. All you need to do is go to our website, counton2.com, and click Big Game under the News tab, or just search Big Game Best Ads.
Next on News 2 at 11.
Utility customers complaining of sky-high power bills following the winter blast we had last month.
So coming up, Count On 2 investigators dig into this problem, speaking with SCE&G officials about a resolution.